Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Um, Hello.
How's that sweatshirt? Hi.
Hi. Somehow you're not on the big screen. I don't know what happened. There you go.
Yay. Will you take a picture, Christy, at some point and send
Yes,
it?
of
Yeah.
course. Of kids digging into tacos. Would that
Oh,
be a good picture?
sure. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yummy
Okay.
tacos.
We're gonna turn around so you can see her in the background. Start with you. We'll get Easton in here too. Thanks.
Yay.
But for now, we'll have like two more, three more. Oh, there they are. Yep. Tacos. Can you pop in the picture so I can have you in it too? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. But I'm not right there. Oh, yeah. I'm the boss here. It'd be great. We'll have Dr. Oz in the background and then you guys. Sweet. Thank you. Is it on? Yeah, it's good right now. Okay. Cool. And we have multiple people on. Do
Yeah,
you want us to mute ourselves here in the classroom?
you can if you want to. Yeah, because what I'm going to do is go through the slideshow first and then wait for questions till the end. So,
Okay, don't forget to record.
yes, it's already recording.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, thank you. And that's because I didn't want to forget.
Makes
So
sense.
I hit record before I started letting everybody in. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you all have questions and you don't want to wait until the end, you can drop them in the chat. And for everybody who wants to be on camera, that would be amazing. And I'm going to give everybody another 30 seconds and then we're going to get started, Christy. So y'all already have your tacos? Yum. Are they hard tacos, soft tacos, and what kind are they? Oh, I didn't know you were muted. I'm sorry, Christy.
Pork tacos.
Hard tacos, so ground beef, steak, chicken.
Ground beef looks like, yeah.
When I was y'all's
Ground beef.
age, I thought guacamole looked so nasty, and I was like, no, 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 no. And now it is one of my favorite condiments. Like I could eat avocado almost every day. So I don't know if any of y'all are guacamole fans, but I love it now. Anybody think it's gross and nasty looking? Anybody love guacamole? Hey, is that Patty raising his hand? Who is that?
That's Ben.
Oh, that's Ben. Hi, Ben. Nice to see you.
Ben, Obi, raise your hand. Yep. And Easton.
I know Easton. Hi, love. Great to see you again.
Hello.
Obi,
Nice.
I don't think I've met you yet, have I?
No, you've not.
Okay, it's nice to meet you. Delighted that you're here.
Very nice to meet you as well.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So y'all can see that. Chrissy, you good? I guess, can you come just give me a thumbs up and make sure y'all can see this? And as I said, y'all can drop things in the chat and then, when I finish with the slideshow, then I'll come back to that. So a lot of people will ask me, what does debt free degree have to do with love? Because my company is Love Revolution. And number one, I would love to teach you how to earn a debt free degree, but it's also love yourself enough to say yes to financial freedom and no to student loans. And so it's definitely one of those things that's countercultural because so many messages in our world today say take the loans and figure out how to pay it off later. And I just don't want that for any of y'all. And so I love for cameras to be on. So for those of you that aren't yet on camera, I'd love for cameras to be on if you're available. And then if you want to save your questions till the end, and as I said, if you want to drop them in the chat now, and I'll come back to them. But we're going to walk through this pretty quickly, and then we'll have lots of time for Q&A. Okay. So there's my website, drroz.love. All of my pages end in love. Hi, Alyssa. Nice to see you, love. So I use the grit blueprint, and y'all are in Washington State, so you probably can hear a little Southern accent in my voice. And for a lot of people, they associate grits with the South anyway. But I use GRIT as a blueprint for all of my coaching in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to go through really quickly what the GRIT stands for, and then I'm going to come back around and do a deeper dive on each one of those. So the G is grants and scholarships. The R is return on investment. The I is this I in all of my programs, and it's interconnected. The idea that we're all interconnected. And then the T is what I call my proven triangle approach. So if you think about a three-legged stool, you have SM, which is student money. You have FM, which are your friends, your family, your folks, the people you're familiar with. And then, Easton, this is probably your favorite, but you just got up and walked around, which is okay. Then we have OPM. Does anybody else besides Easton know what OPM stands for? Christy's going to unmute. All right. Okay,
Other
guys.
people's
Yes, other people's money. That's exactly right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. The thing about a debt-free degree is it's very simple, but it's not easy. And this is what I think throws off a lot of people is they will hear about it and they'll think, okay, it's number one, too good to be true, and it's not because it's absolutely doable. Or they'll say it's just too hard. And the thing about anything that we want to achieve is if you tell yourself today that it's too hard, then you'll be exactly right. It does take tenacity, it does take resilience. And tenacity is the thing that you need to have that persistence to do it over and over and over and over. And anything worth doing well, you're going to have to do more than one time. And that's the thing about debt-free degree. Student loan debt, y'all, is crippling. And it's actually there. I want to say it's sad. In some ways, what I'm about to say is sad. I've had more students in the last 6 months tell me never has a degree meant less and is worth and costs more. So it's worth less and costs more. In many ways, that's true. In many ways, I think a lot of students believe, I think a lot of people in our culture believe that either you get a 4-year degree or you're not doing what you need to be doing. I disagree with that. I do believe that everybody needs some type of training beyond a high school diploma. For some of you, and Chrissy, I have forgotten the name of this program that y'all have, but for some of you, you might graduate with your associate's degree or a technical certificate and your high school diploma at the same time. But that still is fulfilling what I'm saying. You need some type of education post a high school diploma. Yeah, Christy, what is that called there in Washington State?
Running start.
Thank you. Running start. Running start. So, there are folks like I just talked to somebody the other day. And they did have a meeting with me, but they are really intent on becoming a welder. And they have this whole program where they can graduate high school and graduate with their, I think it was their, not just their certificate, but their diploma in welding simultaneously. So at 18 years old, they're going to be going out into the world and working as a full-time welder. But never has student loan debt been more crippling. And this is what we want to avoid. I do believe that overall, our culture says debt is a prerequisite for adulthood, particularly student loan debt. And I want you to know that is a myth. That is absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. And so if you start hearing people say, well, everybody's got debt, so I'll just do it too. Just understand that that message is not loving. If you accept that message, it is not loving to yourself. It doesn't make sense cognitively, and it's not kind to you. And so figuring out how you can avoid particularly student loan debt. Now, a lot of people will say, okay, so Dr. Ross is against debt. No, I'm not a financial planner. There's a whole lot of reasons to have, quote, good debt, but not for student loans. Okay. So let's dig into grants and scholarships. People will say to me, I'm a C student, so there are no scholarships for me. That is untrue. People will say, I want to go to this tiny little school, so there's no scholarships available. That is not true. People will say, it is a myth that scholarships go unawarded, that, that's untrue. No, that is completely true. And so every single year there's scholarships that go unawarded because people are not applying for them. Or because people are applying for them and the organizations are reaching out and people aren't checking their email. And that's one of the things we talk about in the Debt Free Degree Club is, what is your email, and do you have a special separate email specifically for anything related to college? I think that that's really, really important. So you're making sure that you're checking that, and go into that spam folder. Because what if you go into your spam folder and you find an email that somebody just gave you $1,000? Right? And so understanding there's 1.7 million private scholarships out there. There are several different great organizations who offer scholarships, and two of them do something. They offer you free scholarships. You can either follow them on Instagram or follow them on Facebook or follow their newsletter. And so you get daily or weekly updates for scholarships. It's very, very important. So if somebody says to you, there's $46 billion, 46 with billion with a B, dollars in grants and scholarships. That's how much is out there, y'all. So the fact that somebody may say, oh, there's nothing out there for me, that's a myth. That's not true. The R is return on investment. This is begin with the end in mind. Okay. Okay, so that first number, 12,000, do you see that first 12,000 number? Times 8 is $98,000, almost $100,000. The way that I got this number is I put all 50 states into a random generator. I just hit, bloop, and it popped up this state's name. I went to that state's flagship institution. So let's just say it was Rhode Island. I went to University of Rhode Island. I added up tuition, books, fees, room, and board, and I got that 12,200 number. And then I multiplied it by 8. Why do you think I multiplied it by 8? Alyssa, do you happen to know?
It might be because how long you're staying there.
Excellent, 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 excellent. So 8 semesters is 4 years. Now, there's nothing educationally sound about graduating college in 4 years, but that again is sort of a cultural thing that everybody says you got to get out in 4 years. That's not true. You can be there for 3 years or 5 years or whatever. But you can see that if that first number is more than $12,000, and a lot of schools, their per semester cost is way more than $12,000, and for every semester that you're there beyond that, because many schools, their highest graduation rate is 5 years or 10 semesters. You can see how it goes up. So when I tell people I can save you an average of $100,000, this is where this comes from. So this ROI is beginning with the end in mind. Now, y'all, I just had a conversation with a mother today, and her son is a senior. She has known about me for several years. And she said, we just thought we would wait until he decided where he wanted to go and then reach out. So she called me today and wanted to know if I could help her find $80,000 by July. So I gave her this information, but it's a little bit like if one of Christy's students, one of Christy's 2 boys said, hey mom, I want to play on this hoop-de-doo travel soccer team, but will you please go to the store and buy me a soccer ball so I can start practicing today, because tryouts are next week. You just cannot get $80,000 between now and July to go to this school. You have to be thinking about a debt-free degree the entire time, because what he did is he said, I want to go to this school and get this degree, and then I want to pile on debt-free degree on top of it, which means debt-free degree was not his end in mind. It was this school. If debt-free degree is your end in mind, there is no reason why you cannot achieve that. It is absolutely doable. And particularly because of the students there at the middle school. Alyssa, are you in middle school or high school?
I'm a sophomore in high school.
Okay, so same for you, Alyssa. There is zero reason if you start implementing what I'm talking about tonight and you start implementing this, particularly you're about to have some time in the summer, there is zero reason that you will ever say yes to a student loan. Even if you want to go someplace that has a cost of attendance of $90,000 a year. And y'all, they have schools like that, $90,000 a year. So I'm delighted that you're here, Alyssa. That's great. Okay. So, one thing to think about in terms of ROI is your time. And so, if I work 40 hours a week, that is 24% of my week. Now, a lot of people will say, I can't work full time in college. I completely understand that. In fact, I'm not advocating that you must work full time. What I am wanting you to think about in terms of ROI is how many hours in the week are you given? It's 168 hours. If you work 40, you still have 76% of your week that you can study, you can, go to school, you can sleep, you can have fun with your friends, you can do all the things because the time is going to pass by. You get to decide how you spend that time. And there are 33 states that if you work full time for their institution or for their system, you get free tuition and fees. That's exactly how I got my PhD for free. Is I was working for the University System of Georgia, and as a result of me working there, then I got free tuition and fees to get a free PhD. I didn't have to do that forever. I just had to do it. It took me actually 5 years to get my PhD. So for 5 years, I worked full time and I worked on my PhD. And also, my son was, at that time, he was in kindergarten. And so, we had a lot going on. But those hours were going to pass by regardless of how I spent them. And so thinking about how you can maximize all of your time, that's a great way to think about ROI. How many of you know who this is on the screen? Alyssa, do you know, or anybody who is off camera, but if you want to unmute or
I don't know, but
you
I've
don't know,
seen.
all good, all good. Anybody in Christy's group? Anybody know who this is? Esteban.
Okay,
Oh, good, Esteban.
It's Tyler Perry.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. That's exactly right. It's Tyler Perry. So Tyler Perry lives here in Atlanta. He is one of my heroes. I absolutely adore him. And Tyler Perry also plays the character Medea. And so Tyler Perry, just like each one of you, is given 168 hours a week. And he chooses to use his time to play not only himself, but another character. So when you think about a debt-free degree, what does your time look like when you graduate? What are your stress levels like when you graduate? What's your health like when you graduate completely debt-free versus you having to pay back 6 figures or more in student loan debt? Think about that because each one of us have the same amount of time and it's really figuring out how we're utilizing that time. 37% of all students who owe student loan debt owe 6 figures. 37%. Imagine if you had $100,000 when you graduated college that you would have access to, that you could, go buy a house, go buy a car. But instead, you're having to work to pay all this money back. Imagine if you wanted to be an entrepreneur, but you knew you had to pay all this money back. And so, how would it limit you? Do not add to that. Do not become part of that 37%. So, now we're going to dig in a little bit to student money. Here are several different ways that you all can save money, and I'm going to blip through these kind of quickly, but I just want to get you the wheels turning as far as ways that you can save money in college. So number one is textbooks. Sometimes the professor is forced to assign a textbook, but does not use that textbook. So you can just go ask the professor, hey, are we going to be using the textbook in this class? There are students that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on textbooks that the professors never use. Another thing you can do is rent a textbook. You can share textbooks. You can get an older edition. There are a lot of different ways that you can save money with textbooks. The second way you can think about saving money is whether or not you want to have a car on campus. So parking fees is one of the areas that can be vastly different when you're looking at that. There's one school that their parking fee is $800 a semester. $800 a semester for the privilege of parking the car that you own on their property. So if you're there that 5 years, which is the average, 10 semesters, that is $8,000 just in parking fees that you've paid to that institution. Something to think about. The other thing is you all get a student ID when you're in higher ed. So you can use that in a lot of different places around town. So a lot of food places will give you a discount. Hair cutting place. I had a student last year that was getting his master's, and he would get haircuts for $5. So you can use that student ID. It's a great way to try to save money. One way too is your job. So obviously, I talked about working full time, but even if you don't want to work full time, and there are a lot of places that will offer you tuition reimbursement. So Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Publix, there are a lot of places. So if you're going to go and you're going to exchange your time and talent for them to pay you money, isn't it also good to think about what other benefits you can have? And if you could get tuition reimbursement, or if they pay for it up front, or maybe they even say, hey, we'll pay for the full thing if you work for us after graduation, something like that. A lot of great jobs out there. And then this fifth thing, and every single one of you that are on the screen, you're already good at this, and it's networking. Because there are 8 billion people on the planet. And there are so many complex things out there that none of us understands everything there is to know about everything. So when you're networking, it's incredibly imperative that you utilize this skill and figure out, oh, well, they know something about that. Let me talk to them about that. Or maybe they have an interest like I have an interest. Christy and I met because we're both entrepreneurs. And she has become one of my dearest, closest friends. And one way that we became so close is through networking. And it's because I'm a part of her online MKElevate, the sweatshirt she has on. I'm a part of that organization. And I have seen drastic improvements to my health because of the work that I'm doing with her. And all of that came about through one conversation in networking, and we just kept having the next conversation and the next conversation. You literally never know who it is that knows your next ideal position. You just have no idea. So being kind and networking, it's really, really important. Now let's go to FM. So this is your friends, your family, your folks, the people you're familiar with, and how can they help you? Now, we live in the South. We don't really need a lot of hoodies. I mean, it doesn't get all that cold here. And about a year ago, I was talking to this mom. She has twins. Between her two children, they had 37 hoodies. 37. Now, what if some of the money that was spent on those hoodies could have gone into a college account? Could have gone just into a savings account? Because there are how many days in a week, y'all? 7. If there are 2 kids, that's 14 hoodies if everybody wore a different hoodie every day of the week, right? And so thinking about some grandparents will say, I don't really give gifts to my grandchildren. I just put money in their college account. Some people may say, starting in high school, we don't really give birthday gifts or holiday gifts. All the money that we would have spent on those gifts will go into this college account. Because things add up, not just the tuition, books, fees, room, and board. But y'all, I had a mom reach out at Thanksgiving, and she said, Dr. Ross, I need you to do a reel about the cost of transportation when you're in college. And I said, okay, tell me what's going on. And she said, we did not factor in that he was going to have to fly home for Thanksgiving and then fly back to school, and then fly home at Christmas and fly back to school. Each one of those flights was $900. They had not budgeted $1,800 to spend in November and December. But if they'd had this account, if they had been doing this all along, then they could have used that money to spend there. So there are all these hidden costs that you may not be thinking about. Another thing that a lot of people are doing is a GoFundMe. So you can start it, like Alyssa, you can start it right now. You can say, hey, send Alyssa to college, and then ask people to do to donate to your GoFundMe. You can also, all of you can also go on Amazon and go ahead and do a registry. There's a cultural it's a friend of mine who is in the Hispanic community, and he talks about being a padrino, and a padrino in the Hispanic community is a little bit like being a godfather. And he said, but as godfathers we don't really love to give money, but we like to give things. And so he loved the idea of the registry, because it may not be all that exciting to get a trash can and a set of sheets, but those are things that you're not going to have to buy for your dorm room if somebody else provides that, right? And so you could go ahead and listen now and be thinking about, okay, this summer, these are some of the things that I want to stock away or something like that. So it's just ways that your friends, your family, your folks, that they can support you. And then y'all, OPM is king. Other people's money. We go back to that $46 billion. We go back to those 33 states that if you work for their in-state institution, that you get free tuition and fees, all these different ways, because there's not that much money out there to help me buy a home or to help me buy clothes. But there's all this free money out there that you don't even have to pay back in order to gain your education. And why not tap into that? So many of you know that I have a book, and so you can go to my website, and all of you that registered here, you'll get the first chapter of the book. So, but you can go to the website or go to Amazon, and it's available there. So I want to know, are you committed to a debt-free degree? Do you want to graduate in the black, or do you want to graduate in the red with a broken little piggy bank? Alyssa, are you committed to a debt-free degree?
I sure am.
Yay! Okay, I know Easton is committed to a debt-free degree. Easton's been with me since day one. Obi, are you committed to a debt-free degree?
Yes, he says.
Excellent, excellent. Ben, how about you?
Yeah.
Yes, excellent, excellent, excellent. I am delighted that you are. So, for all of you that just said yes, I want you to begin thinking about, what is your story? If you as the student, what is your portion going to be, the SM? Alyssa and Ben and Obi and Easton, what are y'all going to ask your FM folks to do? And then how are you going to tap into OPM? Begin thinking about that. And the more you start thinking about it, the more things are going to come to you. And the more you're going to go, oh, I could maximize that. I could look at that. I could like bring that in. I could say no to this for right now because I want to say yes to financial freedom. So begin thinking about what your story is, what your commitment will be, what your friends and family's commitment will be, how you're going to tap into OPM. Because it's really important to dream about, as a debt-free degree graduate, who will you be and what will you do and what will you have as a result of being completely debt-free. For folks that have six-figure student loan debt, they don't have hobbies. Their hobby is working to pay back that debt. For a lot of them, they don't have extra money to do travel or do different things because they've got to pay back that debt. I realize that some of you are at middle school and you might be rolling your eyes at the story. And Alyssa, even you might be saying, I don't really care about that. But I just want you to know that it is very, very real that student loan debt can even ruin relationships. Several years ago, I was at a dinner party. And so it wasn't on like a webinar like this. It was just at a dinner party. And this person turned to me and she said, so what do you do? And I said, I'm founder of Debt-Free Degree and I help students graduate completely debt-free. And she just hung her head. And I don't know how much y'all know about emotions, but shame is the one emotion that when we feel it in our body, our neck muscles release. And she immediately hung her head. She was feeling such shame. She had tears in her eyes. She said she was dating this guy and they were really in love and she was really excited about the future. And they were starting to talk about maybe thinking about getting engaged, maybe thinking about doing the whole marriage thing. And she disclosed to him that she had 2 degrees in social work and she owed over $100,000 in student loan debt. And he broke up with her. And there are a lot of people that say, oh, wow, that guy was a jerk. Okay, if that's where you need to land, that's fine. But that guy did not sign up for over $100,000 in debt in something that was in his girlfriend's head. This is not a tangible something that you can sell. There are some student loans that when you pass away, your heirs have to pay them off. So you really need to think about when you're saying yes to a student loan, how you're saddling yourself with something really, really difficult. You can be blocking growth. You can be blocking relationships. You can say, I'm not going to have any hobbies. Your career may be stunted. Maybe you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, but you can't do that. So who will you be? What will you do? And what will you have as a result of a debt-free degree? I want you to begin dreaming about that. And so if you want to visit drroz.love/DFD, every one of you who've registered here, I'm assuming you got all the emails, and so you'll be getting the first chapter and all that of the book. But in case you want to share this with any of your friends who weren't on here tonight, who haven't registered, and they want information about debt-free degree, as I said, all my pages end in love. And I'm going to stop sharing and welcome everybody. And let's see. Oh, Alyssa's going to be a founding member. Yay, Alyssa. Oh, I am so delighted. That's great. That's great. That's great. Thanks, Heather, for putting that, or Chrissy, whoever put that in there. Heather, it's got your name on it. So, so what questions do y'all have? Any questions? Alyssa, no questions? You just understood everything.
Somewhat, yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, it looks like somebody's sitting with you. Does that person have any questions?
No, it's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, no questions at this
No questions
time.
right now? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Chrissy, how about anybody there from your crew?
You guys have questions?
Go.
Go.
Go,
I
Ethan.
might not be able to answer, but I'm just wondering if like running start costs any money. Does it cost something?
For the most part, those types of programs do not. So
Okay.
I can only speak really about Georgia because that's the only system that I know pretty well. And in Georgia, not only does it not cost, Georgia has something called Hope Scholarship that you can go to college and you can have 120 credit hours toward a degree. And if you do dual enrollment, it doesn't even count against that. So you can do dual enrollment and graduate with an associate's degree, and then you still have 120 credit hours after you graduate high school. So that's an excellent question. And that's how I would answer it here in Georgia. Christy, do you happen to know the answer offhand?
Like you to pay something.
I feel like you have to pay for books or like the
Okay.
Yeah.
iPad stuff. I don't know if Alyssa knows if they talked to her at the high school about that.
Excellent.
But,
Do you know, Alyssa? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure, but
Yeah, we're still figuring that out, but there is like book fees. Sometimes there's a lab fee or something like that.
Okay.
But
but I
otherwise,
think like the actual credit does.
Yeah. So you don't have to pay for the actual credit, I think is right. It's just like there was some some fees on the outside.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, if I had to choose, do I want to pay for books? Do I want to pay for a lab fee, or do I want to pay for the tuition and the credit fee? Then I'm going to take lab and book fee every time. Every time. It's always going to be a better deal. So great question, Easton. Anybody else have questions?
Did anybody email questions ahead of time?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't know.
Nope. So what's everybody's next step going to be? Easton's been with me for a while, and I don't know who that cutie is that's walking around, but I hope she's hearing debt-free degree. I hope she never says yes to student loans. So is that your little sister, Easton?
Yeah.
What a cutie. So Easton, you've been here for a while. So hi, love. Good to see you. So I don't know if you have some next steps, but I'm curious, like Alyssa, Obi, Ben. Ben, I know you've been around too, but do y'all have like what is your next step? What are you thinking about in terms of how you might maximize time over the next 3 months? Ben?
gonna try to get my family members to, instead of getting me gifts, to put them gift money into a college.
Excellent. And so you're going to do that now, Ben, from middle school on through high school?
Yeah,
Excellent. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's a great answer. Is that your dad sitting beside you?
yeah.
Dad, what do you think about that?
It's a great idea. Yeah, take less stress off of us to pick a gift too, so.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but we're kind of laughing. And it's kind of funny. But y'all, I mean, how many times are you in a place where somebody is giving you a holiday gift that's evident that either they don't really know you, or you're getting kind of the thing that you always get, like you have several of them, or it's kind of like I feel obligated to give you a gift, but I don't exactly know what you want, but I don't want to show up empty-handed. I mean, what a great way to show up with money for your college account, right? That's great, Ben. Thank you. Obi or Alyssa, what are y'all thinking for the next 3 months?
Well, so far I've been like starting running start, so I'm gonna be doing that.
Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. You're going to start that this summer or next fall semester?
Probably summer, I think.
Excellent. Fantastic. That's fantastic. That's great. I'm curious, Alyssa, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. What made you, which I believe 99% of the time is a better decision. I understand there are some reasons to do it the other way, but I'm curious, what made you do Running Start instead of AP?
Well, I think like after school, you still have, if you want like a better job or a better paying job, you'd have to go right into more schooling, and that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes it feels like it might be a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So taking Running Start will save some time for me in the future.
Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. I talked to a young lady, this has probably been about 3 years ago, but she did essentially Running Start and she got her associate's degree in education. So she only had 4 semesters once she got to college to graduate as a teacher. So she would have graduated with her education degree at 20. And all the school systems where she wanted to work, you had the minimum employment age was 21. So she stayed and got her master's. So I think it took her 3 semesters post. So I think she was 21, or she maybe had already turned 22, depending on her birthday. But by 22, she had both her bachelor's and her master's in education, and she went right into a job debt free at 22. I love the way you're thinking, Alyssa. What course of study are you thinking for Running Start?
Well, I'm thinking more into like the medical field.
Excellent. Like CNA or LPN or phlebotomist or excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, nursing.
Nursing, very good,
Yeah.
very good. As a future patient, I am delighted that you want to do that. As someone who is so squeamish, that is not in my wheelhouse whatsoever. And so that would not be the route I personally would want to do. And also I am so delighted because like I said, I am getting older and we always need nurses, right? We always need folks in the medical field. So, and that's so smart because you can finish that and be working in that field, which you're going to earn a lot more money than if you were to work in, a grocery store, fast food or whatever, if you decide to do your bachelor's degree. I was talking to a mom about a year ago, and her daughter got into it's not an Ivy League school, but it's a really elite school. Y'all would know the school. Well, I will tell you because y'all don't know this person. But she got in at Duke University, so Duke in North Carolina. And she did her bachelor's degree at Duke. And she did get some scholarships, but she also took some loans, kind of a significant amount of loans. And she graduated with her bachelor's from Duke University. And then she decided she wasn't real crazy about that major and she wanted to be an RN. And so she went back to Duke because she was like, I like being at Duke. I think she really just wanted to stay at Duke University, honestly. And so she got her second bachelor's and she became a registered nurse at Duke. It's something like $150,000 in student loan debt as a nurse. Now, nurses make really good money, Alyssa, RNs in particular, particularly RNs that already have their bachelor's degree, because then, you can move up in leadership and that kind of thing. But paying off $150,000 is a tremendous amount of money to pay off as a nurse. So good for you for starting with Running Start. That's great.
Thank you.
Obi, did I put you, did I get your next steps, love?
No, I don't believe you did.
Would you like to share
Yeah.
them?
Right now I'm just looking for either family or friends that will maybe give me some work over the summer, both for money and also just good to get experience for the resume at the earliest stage I can, where I
Love it.
don't have to pay bills.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. What's your dream? Like if you were like, I wish that blah blah would hire me to do what? What would it be?
I don't know who I wish would hire me, but I want to work in marine biology. Or
Marine
not
biology. Outstanding.
marine biology, but just like animals in general.
Wow. Wow. So like there might be jobs this summer to work in an aquarium or
Well, I was thinking more of just like doing odd jobs. Like a couple of my family members own a farm, and so I could go work there, or like just like babysit, dog sit, do things like that.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Can you get on Rover? Do y'all have Rover out there?
I think we do.
So,
I don't know if you're old enough, Obi, to do that, but I'm wondering if maybe if there's a way you could partner with somebody and do something like that. That's great. That's great.
I just finished ref training not too long ago, so now I'm getting referee training for money. I'm
Wow.
Wow.
Referee for what sport? If you said I couldn't hear you.
soccer.
Soccer. Outstanding. Outstanding. Hey, listen, if you're refereeing a game where Keegan or Patty are playing, they never ever make an error. So don't call errors on this. But be a really good ref for everybody else, okay?
Okay.
I'm kind of kidding, kind of not. But pretty much kidding. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Do you get paid per game or per season or how do you get paid for that?
So every game you make a certain amount of money depending on like what referee you're getting because there's like assistant referees sometimes and then the age group. And by the end of two like work weeks, so if there's games on that week, at the end of that week, you will get paid all together and all the things you've done.
Very good. Very good. Very good. And see, that to me is not only are you getting paid, so it falls into that job category, but also you're networking because you don't know what dad on the soccer team or what mom on the soccer team knows somebody who knows the thing that 10 years from now you're going to go, hey, remember I used to do this, and this, and I met you, and now I'm interested in this field. And, can you make an introduction for me or whatever? You never know. And so that's a great opportunity to network. That's really, really good. Excellent. All right, Miss Christie, any other questions? Anything else I can answer for y'all?
Good question. Esteban and Kristen, do you guys have anything I know you're listening. Is there anything you guys wanted to, type out or ask?
I don't think I had anything else I wanted to ask or anything I wanted to ask.
Great, Esteban. Thank you. Kristen? Kristen
Thinking not.
unmuted, but then mute and then muted. So maybe right now is not a great time to ask a question. Okay.
Yeah. I guess the other next thing would be like I said, we are in the process of working on a high school debt-free degree club. Melissa's filling out the paperwork. We've got a mentor, someone on the, at the school. So we'll be ready for you guys to move right into the high school.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
that'll be great.
Excellent.
I guess any other things or places they can get a hold of you so that if they wanted some one-on-one, because I know like we're going to be doing more big groups trying to make it work. So we all are working together to make sure everyone gets a debt-free degree. But let's say you're kind of on the fast track, like maybe you didn't start as early as these guys. is there a way to, like you said, talk to you and maybe have some suggestions on a one-on-one basis if that's better for people?
Absolutely. And for now, I mean, once it grows much bigger, I can't make this offer. But this offer today is y'all got my cell phone number, or you should. If you don't, let me put it in the chat. And so y'all just text me. So I've got my that there's my cell phone number, and then here's my email address. So I mean, you just contact me directly, and feel free to text or email anytime. And yeah, be delighted to answer questions or spur you on. Again, there will come a day that I will not be able to make that offer, but today is not yet that day. So I am delighted that each one of you and share it with the parents and all of that. And I was thinking too, Christy, is something like this is a great way to end the year and just kind of get people thinking about what to do in the summer. But it's also a great way to start the school year. And so I don't know if Heather is Heather there with you?
Yes, I'm right here to the side.
Okay, so Heather, you might cross your eyes at this, and if so, I apologize to you in advance. But one of the things, Alyssa, you may think about is in the next week or two, let's go ahead and find a date that we're going to do a debt-free degree webinar in the fall. And so then you'd have this whole on ramp to, thinking about it over the summer and, say you want to do it, the third week in September or something like that. Because I'm assuming y'all start around 1st of August, right? So, or even, we can do it in August, whatever. But I just want to make
Yeah.
that offer. Like I am thinking ahead, and I'm delighted to go ahead and go ahead and get that scheduled if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, we start the end of August is when we start school.
Yeah,
Oh,
so like the
good.
3rd week of September makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Y'all, there are some schools in Georgia that start like the first day for the students. It's like July 28th or something crazy like that. Insanity. But then they're also out. Like I think my niece gets out like May 8th or something like that. I think her school year is done. So, it's the same amount of days. It just, I don't know. May 8th feels really early to be done with school, and July 28th feels entirely too early to be going to school. So, yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Any last words, anybody? Okay.
Thank you for your time, Dr.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you
y'all are
so
so
much.
welcome. Y'all are so welcome. It is a delight and joy to be with y'all. It is truly my honor to put you on this debt-free degree path and walk alongside you. And your futures are so bright, particularly when you graduate debt-free. And so, anything I can do to help expedite that, I want to do that. So,
Love it. Thank
and
you
Kristen, if
again.
you will, I don't know that the sweet young lady, if she wants to be in the picture, but how old is she?
No, almost 3.
3?
3 years old.
Okay.
Almost.
That I do believe is my youngest debt-free degree student. And so thank you, Love, for having that particular.
Okay, do we do a picture? One more.
If she's okay with being in the picture.
You okay? Is it okay, Dad? Okay. Flip her around. I'm gonna go this way so I can get Dr. Roz in. Lean in. Okay, quick. Thank you.
Yay! Awesome. Y'all are amazing. It's great being with you. And this recording will go out to everybody. And Christy knows how to get in touch with me. And now all of y'all don't have any excuse. You don't even have to go through Christy or Miss Brown. You can contact me directly.
Wonderful. Well,
Kristen,
have a good night. It's almost 9 o'clock in Georgia.
It is. It is. Kristen, at one time, it looked like you unmuted again. And I just want to make sure that you have an opportunity to ask a question if you wanted to. Kristen, are you good? Is Kristen a middle school student or a high school student, or do y'all know?
I don't know.
Kristen, okay.
Could be a parent.
Could be a parent. Okay. So, Kristen, if you have my information in there, you feel free to reach out as well. And all right, y'all. Till next time. Appreciate y'all. Love every single one of you. Delighted you're here. Bye.
Bye.